Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style.
And I'm Jill Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe. And in this video, we're going to talk about owning your style and the journey that we all go on as women, discovering elements about our style and what style means and what we learn about ourselves on that journey. And some of the things we've been talking about are the early messages that we get in life, not just about style and clothes and image and that kind of stuff, but the other messages that we get about what life is about and about achievement and how we approach life and what is and is not acceptable, and then how we turn those messages into part of our life story and what we make that mean and how that contributes to the women that we become and how that woman shows up as a stylish woman. And we were talking about things like being fabulous and how do we ever feel fabulous? And we had quite different experiences. Just that one word, feeling fabulous, feeling stylishly fabulous. It's amazing how evocative that is and what it brings up for different people. And certainly for us, it brought up an interesting conversation.
Because I never feel fabulous. Because we've had a question of how do you make an outfit take it from okay to fabulous?
Right, yeah.
I actually said, I don't know.
Right.
Because I never personally feel fabulous.
Yeah.
I can look at other people and I think they look fabulous.
Yeah.
But I don't ever feel it about my own style. It's not something... I think I look okay.
Yeah.
But I never think I look fabulous.
And I found this shocking. I really found this really, really surprising that you never feel fabulous. And then we started talking about, well, why would that be? And what is the definition of fabulous? And, is fabulous attainable for you? Do you want to feel fabulous? It was really quite fascinating to hear what your thoughts are around that.
Because I think one of the things is Jill does feel fabulous.
Yeah, I do. I don't feel perfect. I don't feel like I'm perfectly dressed or I'm the most stylish woman in the room, any of those kinds of things. But I feel fabulous. And there's an effortless kind of to it. And it's a really, I don't know, it was quite an interesting thing because it's a relationship with me to myself fabulous. So I'm not comparing myself to a celebrity or to any other women. It's just, do I feel fabulous within myself? And it's nice when people, I get approached, reasonably often. People will say, oh, I love that look you've pulled together. That's nice, but not essential. I can feel fabulous without that kind of external feedback. And I'm a person who requires a lot of feedback. But I don't need that to feel fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because I think maybe because of my upbringing, that my expectation of fabulous is much higher.
Right.
Also, part of my personality is that wherever I am, I always see there's something better.
Yeah.
So to me, fabulous is always away from where I am right now.
Yeah.
And that, therefore, it's maybe never attainable.
Yeah.
Because I also know that I only know a tiny amount about a very small thing. That there's so much more out there to know than what I'll ever possibly know in my lifetime.
Right.
So therefore that's a never-ending...
Yeah.
It's not like I'll go, wow, I know everything about style and colour now.
Yeah.
I can't actually ever see that happening.
Yeah. And that is so fascinating because I think if you were to ask the readers of your blog what you know about style and image, I suspect a lot of them, I would certainly say it's encyclopedic. You know more than so many other people, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your own relationship to that and this whole idea that fabulous is never attainable.
For me.
Yeah.
But I look at other people and I think, oh, they look fabulous.
Yeah.
And look, I think there's also, we're talking about this, that there's an element, particularly in my industry, amongst image consultants.
Right.
There is a huge pressure to look amazing in a way that's beyond the regular sort of amazing.
Yeah.
That if we're teaching people, we should know everything and we should be perfect ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think perfect is unattainable and doesn't exist. But I also, it's that sort of thing. And then there are people who have much more bold personalities than me that I can look at them and I go, that looks great, but it's not me. It doesn't feel authentic.
And that's really where we came to with this about the authentic style journey. And the world is full of examples of people who saw somebody else being successful and copied that. And there's a modicum of success you can get to, but you will never be fully successful when you're copying somebody else. That only comes, I'm convinced of this like I'm convinced of nothing else in the world. that is only possible through an authentic expression.
Yes.
That is just, it's just me. This is how I am and what I'm offering. And what you offer in this space cannot be offered by anybody else except you.
Well, I'm sure there's other people who could offer something
But they
similar.
can't do it the way that you would do it. Only you can do that.
Yeah.
That is not available. It's just a door that's closed to every other person, every other stylist, except you.
But, and I think this is where, when we're thinking about, like, how do I take an outfit to fabulous? Look, there's a bunch of rules you can learn, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach on the blog.
And we'll put those links in.
And there's a bunch of, well, there's an entire blog full of links. I don't think I could possibly put them all in. But, you know, there's formulas, there's body shapes, there's, you know, how to put an outfit together. There's all those sorts of things. And, you know, and accessories do make a difference. And often that's the difference between an okay or a good outfit and a great outfit is often just the accessories.
Yeah.
But then there's also that, is it authentic? And
Yeah.
I think that authenticness is what's really super important.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, I can look at other people's styles who I think look fabulous, and I go, but it's not me.
Yeah.
And as much as, and maybe that's why I don't feel fabulous, because it's not me to be that sort of really out there fabulous, because I am more naturally introverted. And I don't actually ever want to be the centre of attention.
Yeah, exactly.
On the whole.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. I like other people to be the people who are, you know, doing stuff. I like to put other people forwards. I like to help other people, which is why I started the blog, is to actually help other people learn. Because style is one of those things that, you know, some of us, like Jill, are lucky that they've got a natural inclination for it.
Yeah, well, certainly natural interest, you
And
know,
an
that's
interest,
for sure.
but probably also an inclination where you knew you were putting things together well, but you didn't know why.
Yeah. I didn't know a portion of what I knew until I met you.
Yes.
And I was saying, my 20s I felt really stylish because it was pure instinct and I didn't really have a lot of data. My 30s was my worst stylish decade of all because I was learning a lot. I actually became an image consultant and practiced for about 10 minutes. And I was following the rules and trying to be all these things and putting it together, constructed in a way that the key ingredient, me, was missing from it. And then I feel like I found myself again in my 40s because I had kind of the best of both worlds. I had back that sense of instinctive, I'm going to be me. And I had all this great information to feed into that so that it was replicable and expandable and amplifiable and all those kinds of things. Yeah.
So, and I think this is where it's, you know, everybody's fabulous is different.
Yeah.
And some of us may never think that what we put together is totally fabulous.
Yeah, and to me, what's interesting of hearing that is that okay?
Yeah.
And I think for some people, it's okay to never have fabulous be something that they attain. That would not be okay for me. On an emotional level, that would not be okay. But I really respect that for you. That's how your style journey is evolving.
Yeah, and I think for me too, because my personality is one that is always striving for better.
Right.
I am not competitive with other people, but I am very competitive against myself.
Yeah.
That I am always pushing myself to get better at any, you know, things that I care about.
Yeah.
Not ball games.
It's a whole other video. Yeah.
No, there's no video there at all. But like, so the things I care about, that I'm always pushing myself to learn more, be better at those things. And I'm okay going, as long as I'm getting better, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't expect every outfit's going to be an amazing hit.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know, and I know that not everything's perfect, and I'm okay with that. And I know my rules and I break them, and I'm okay. And I don't feel like I have to dress to a formula either, where I have to dress to here's every single one of my rules and I have to make sure it works. I have to do every outfit exactly the same. So, you know, I'll break contrast rules, and I'll break this and I'll break that, and I'll do body shape things, because it's also about, for me, when I feel my best, it's about being me.
Yeah.
And you know, going, that's an expression of me.
Yeah.
And so, and part of my personality is it's not a rule follower.
Yeah.
And so that's okay for me.
Yeah.
And I know we were talking about how I was brought up in a very middle class family with a real Protestant work ethic, but there was this, you can't ever get too big for your boots, but you can't fail either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's this very narrow kind of what is acceptable, which is really quite hard, I think, to fit into that. And then even, and this was talking about even running a business, and I've run my own business now for over a dozen years, that you don't run your own business.
Yeah.
The people who run their own businesses are either the working class who have a trade, or maybe run a little shop or something, or it's the people who are at the top who have a great big staff and it's a great big corporation, but we, the middle class, go to work for somebody else, and we have our life, and we might strive for middle management sort of thing, but that's where we fit into the world, which is not fabulous.
Yeah, which makes so much more sense, because when we first started talking about this, and you said, I don't feel fabulous, and I don't think fabulous is attainable, it's just sort of a part of my heart kind of broke for you. But now I understand more about it. It makes so much more sense on so many levels. And it seems to me you're okay with it. Like you understand it, but you also understand that for you, fabulous not being attainable somehow works for you.
Maybe too is that I don't know what fabulous would feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe I do feel fabulous. I just don't know that that's fabulous. That's not the word I would put on it.
Yeah, that's not the currency with which you use in this space.
So, and this is why. So, I mean, I know this video is supposed to be about owning your style.
Yeah.
But there is, I think, that sort of thing where I think with style and feeling good, and this is where we can see many other people, and we might go, oh, they dress so much better than me, and they're so much more stylish. But would you feel comfortable in those clothes? Is that you? So there's people who you may look at, that you may look and think, wow, they are just dressed in a fabulous way. But it's more dramatic than you. It's more creative. It's more out there in a way that doesn't make you comfortable.
Or it might be more classic. I mean, you can look at somebody. I don't think it's just those.
No.
Although, like the women of advanced style who are totally and utterly fabulous, I can look at them and say they're totally and utterly fabulous, and I'll never look like them. And it doesn't. I don't make it mean anything more than that.
Yeah.
And
I think you've talked to me about how you wished you could wear that really monochromatic, elegant,
one colour
thing, which you've realised
it ain't me.
It doesn't work for you.
Yeah, but you told me why. I didn't know why until you explained it to me, which made all the difference in the world. Understanding
and I think that's where the more you understand, and that's for me part of my own style journey has been when I learnt that my rib cage sits right on top of my hip bone and I'm never going to have a waist, even though I'd spent years loving really waisted clothes and wishing I had an hourglass figure, and when I learnt that I was never going to because it was physically impossible, I then let it go. Yeah. And I could then go, okay, well, I've just got to deal with this. And it's not going to change. It's not actually about weight. It's not that element of me is never going to change. Yeah. Just in the way that my colouring, I mean, yes, I can mess with it a little bit.
Yeah. But it's structural.
It's kind of there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, too, you have to kind of go, and personality develops over time and it doesn't stay stagnant and it does change. And in fact, we were talking with a friend today who was telling us about how she's got a lot of clothes in her wardrobe she really likes, but they're not her anymore. Yeah. And this is where, we can still like them, but we go, actually, I've moved on from that.
Yeah. And that, to me, is what an authentic style journey is about. And the other thing we were talking about with regards to you is you have a certain constancy in some of your items of clothing. Yes. And that is part of being in integrity for you, is not turning over your wardrobe quickly, despite the fact that there can be pressures externally. Social media can be one of those sources, that every outfit has got to be completely and utterly unique. But that just doesn't work for you on multiple levels.
So it doesn't work in that I don't believe in fast fashion.
Yeah.
It doesn't work because I like things, and why would I want to get rid of something I like? But this is where too, I feel like if I'm taking a photo for the blog, I'm going, oh, but you've seen the same outfit. You've seen this skirt 400 times. Yeah. I've taken that many photographs of it. I've had it for the last 7 years, and and there is that sort of element there. I sometimes go, well, I don't want to bore everybody with what I'm putting out there. Yeah. But I also too, well, I don't want to also be out of integrity with myself. Yeah. And that's really important for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But then I also said one of the things I've had to do is challenge myself to go, well, how can I put these things together in a different way? Yeah. So that it might feel a little bit different. Yeah. To what's been seen before. So I can still keep wearing the same olds. Yeah. All the time.
I think we can all relate to the general idea of being true to ourselves and staying on our authentic journey, balancing that with the needs of our audience, whatever our audience is, whether or not that's colleagues at work or clients or the demands of children at home.
Yes.
So whatever, we're all walking a tightrope of some sort.
Yeah.
And to me, the authenticity piece becomes more and more important the older that I get. And not in the face of, not at the expense of those other things, but to become the woman that I really want to be has become much more important.
And I think too, with owning your style, that you can appreciate other people's style without having to copy it.
Yeah.
Without having to go, well, I'm lesser because I'm not out there like that person.
Yeah.
I'm lesser because I'm not as dramatic or creative or classic or whatever it might be.
Exactly.
But then I think there's also an element where we do get stuck. And that's where sometimes pushing ourselves, and this is why with Evolving Style, people sometimes go, why does it matter what order I do these things in? Why does it matter if I skip challenges?
Yeah.
And one of the things that the reason, there's actually quite a fairly specific, it's not like if you mix 2 days up, that doesn't matter. But there is actually a bit of a progression through things that is actually about, there's a psychological kind of element to it. It's about pushing yourself in a way that you might want, and you're not going to feel comfortable in everything, but you'll also discover that maybe some things you thought you'd actually really hate, you actually didn't mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that maybe you could incorporate that element into your style.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think that, you know, and I've done all the things myself where, you know, for me, wear a hat all day felt pretty uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but I have a friend and she wears a hat all day every day, and she is known for her hats.
Right.
And for her, that's, you know, I do this all the time. So what's that? But it's also, I've gone, you know what happened? I wore a hat all day and either I got a compliment or people said nothing.
Yeah.
Yet I'm very conscious of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're often more conscious. And one of the things often people, because wear a statement necklace is the first day. And the reason I put it there is a lot of people, their statement necklace is something really tiny and they go, I could never wear anything as big as what you're wearing, Jill.
Yeah, right.
But then when they do actually wear something bigger, they realise that it's only big in their own mind.
Yeah.
It's not actually big.
Yeah.
And when you look at it in a photo, it's actually not that big.
Yeah.
So it's that, are my judgments and perceptions accurate?
Yeah.
Or am I turning something into something that's not really there? And it's a bit like when people feel like they can't wear the same outfit twice.
Yeah.
The paparazzi aren't following you, I'm assuming. If they are, let me know. But, you know, for most of us, nobody notices, nobody remembers. When you go out to an event and you wear the same dress you've worn before, you know, 99% of people probably have no idea, and 1% might think, hey, I like that dress. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I've seen, you know, because we're much more involved in our own thoughts than the external. I bet you don't remember what everybody else is wearing. Well, they're not remembering what you're wearing either.
Yeah.
But they'll either just go, it's over the impression where they go, wow, you're well dressed or not. That's the overall impression. It's not what specific little things you're putting on.
Yeah. And to me, one of the most impressive things to see in a woman is a woman comfortable in her own skin, however that is manifested in the way that she's dressing. And a woman trying to be something other than who she is one of the most heartbreaking things to see. And I think this whole idea of reconnecting with your own style journey rather than trying to measure up to something that isn't you or something external, I think it's really interesting. I'd be interested to hear what people's own style journeys have been like and where they're at.
And this is one of the things I've also had feedback from people doing 7 steps, is when they do the personality step and they learn about how their personality influences what they wear, that they go, it's okay that I'm more conservative than Jill and Joan and Jerry over there, because that's me.
Yeah.
And it actually gives them a freedom that they might not have otherwise had, that they might have thought I should be, because there's a lot of, I think, particularly for women, I should be more something.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, going, actually, I am not that person. I'm not, you know, suddenly I'll go, oh, she's way more dramatic and she's more creative. And I'm not that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay for me to have a quieter style. It's okay for me, you know, or to have a louder style. Because I'm sure there's some people who think, oh, but I dress in like a clown compared to everybody else. And that's not great. But really, I think if it's you, then that's what you're really aiming for, is to feel comfortable in your own skin and your own style to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And that's what we can all learn something. I'm always learning something. That's one of the things I think people are always surprised about. I go, I'm still learning.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
I've been doing this for quite some years now, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Because it's not a black and white A, B, C, D, and here are the 4 rules, and that's it.
Yeah.
And because humans are so unique, so individual, so beautiful, all in all their own ways, that means that it's this huge, big area that isn't rule bound.
Yeah.
In a way that just says this is fabulous and this is not.
Yeah. Yeah. And any system that purports to do that, I quickly lose any regard for. Yeah. Yeah.
But yes. So anyway, tell us about owning your own style, and maybe a little bit about your style journey, because I think that's something that, you know, we can all learn something from everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we were to do this video in a year's time, I reckon we'd have something different to say to what we've said here.